All right, and we are back. 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 Welcome. All right, and we are back. And today we're back with another reaction video. This time we're going to be checking out a video from the amazing creator, Salmonella. Now, I'm sure most of you guys are familiar with Salmonella and the Salmonella Academy. Funny thing is, I actually made another video, a reaction to his other videos. The one about like the dog guy, but I'll be honest, I really didn't enjoy the way that reaction went out, so it didn't come out. But guys, if you can get me to 500 subscribers, I might be able to get that video out. I think I may be able to like re-edit it, do something, because I do this for you guys, so that's what I'm saying. Get me to 500. You do the thing for me. I do the thing for you. It's great. You guys will be all like,
"Oh my gosh, you're so incredible. You do so much for us."
and I would just be like, yeah, I know. I'm just too good to you guys sometimes. So yeah, guys, remember 500 subs, and then that'll be out. Or maybe I don't know. Get the 500 subs first, and we'll talk about the other stuff. But yeah, guys, if you're not familiar with Salmonella, which I'm sure 99% of you are, then also check him out. Even if you are familiar with him, take a look at the link in the comments below, and that way you can take a look, go to his channel, subscribe, comment, and be like, oh, hey, look who sent me here. It's my favorite YouTuber. And then he'll comment below and be like, whoa, who? Let me subscribe to him, and then he'll be one of the 500. You see how that works? So guys, if you haven't already, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. And also, I just want to tell you this because I really barely ever mention it. I think I mention it like maybe every couple of videos. If you don't like, comment, and subscribe, YouTube will come through that door, that holiday decorated door, and they will Salmonella presidential pets.
Hey adults. So most of us are aware of at least one animal companion to the commander-in-chief. All but 3 presidents have owned some kind of pet during their term, and there's good—
What? Trump didn't have a dog or a cat or something? That's actually a little bit surprising. But also, I do feel like I would have heard of it if he had one. But Petless Virgins is also hilarious. I just noticed that it said Petless Virgins, guys. That's why I like stopped in the middle of my, my thing. Not because I was trying to add extra time to the reaction, because I genuinely was reacting to something. You saw my reaction face.
reason for that. Not only does a lovable mutt serve to humanize an otherwise larger-than-life figure, but their cute antics can also be a great distraction when needed. Huh? Drone strikes? Never heard of her. Hey, we're doing a photo op with this dog that shares a name with my vice president's son, cause
Okay. This is a pretty good Obama. This is a pretty good Obama, guys. I gotta say. It's like, you wonder which president it was. You don't really have to. You immediately know. Not because of the color, but because his ears are really just he really has big ears, guys.
Oh, that's not weird at all. But as it turns out, dogs and cats are just the tip of the iceberg. There have been a lot of quadrupedal occupants of the White House, even without Miss Lewinsky. So today we'll be going through just a few of the more interesting ones. Going back to the beginning,
hold on, guys. I just caught what he just said. Hold on now.
Without Miss Lewinsky. So today
there's a lot of what?
There have been a lot of quadrupedal occupants of the White House, even without Miss Lewinsky. So today—
Wow, guys. Wow. I'm sure she wasn't on her hands and knees. Mostly just knees. So, still bipedal.
We'll be going through just a few of the more interesting ones. Going back to the beginning, Washington had critters galore, including 4 black and tan slur hounds that he named Drunkard, Taster, Tippler, and Tipsy. They sound like if Santa's reindeer were all alcoholics, which would be a shame because Rudolph's red nose would no longer be of note. John Adams had 3 dogs that presumably spanned the alignment chart, being named Juno, Mark, and Satan respectively. Not a joke. Jefferson kept around 40 sheep during his presidency, one of which was a 4-horned Shetland ram. Though nameless, said ram soon became famous for killing a young boy on White House grounds. Rather than immediately...
Wait, did they... What? Why don't we ever hear about a president having all these sheeps and lambs? That is super interesting. I genuinely thought they only had like cats and dogs. Maybe somebody had a bird or something, you know? I didn't know they were keeping like all types of stuff throughout history. Like, come on. This is the type of stuff that the history classes need to be teaching kids, you know? The important stuff. That and how to do taxes properly. You know, these are the most important things that like social studies classes and, you know, other like studies of, you know, economics, all those. We should be learning that type of stuff. Also, history classes should definitely be teaching us about the goats and all the other sheeps and weird presidential animals.
Immediately destroying the animal as we'd expect today, Jefferson just had it moved back to Monticello. It was eventually put down, but only after it single-handedly killed several other rams at the estate, which just goes to show how Jefferson operated. Random child, not the best optics, but that can be forgiven. But my own property, that's a bridge too far, Rambo. John Quincy Adams' wife Louisa practiced sericulture, which is a fun word for silkworm keeping. As a side note, sericulture has been going on since at least 3630 BC, which is kinda nutty, because that means we domesticated worms to turn their goo into clothes before we figured out how to ride a horse. Jackson had an African gray...
That is interesting. That's very... I wonder who the first... Like, who's the person who's like, these worms are like spewing out some weird stuff. Like, I've never seen a worm spew this out before. I've seen worms do stuff, not this. But then he picks it up and it's like, this texture is a little different than what I was expecting. I feel like I could do something with this. So like that person had to have been both like a person interested in bugs and like textiles. Like that's insane. Like the world is so interesting to me. Like history is so much more interesting than like a lot of fictional things because even just the basics, somebody really thought about that. You think about how paint was made, you think about how all these different things are made, and you're just like, wow, somebody with it, we understand this because of like modern society and what we have now. But before that, somebody had just thought of these things. It's insane. It's crazy.
A parrot named Poll, short for Polly, that would apparently curse like a sailor, probably thanks to the teachings of Old Hickory himself. Having outlived its owner, Poll ended up being removed from Jackson's funeral service after unleashing so much profanity that guests found it genuinely upsetting. He also kept roosters for cockfighting, which was acceptable at the time and still far from the worst thing he's done morally. During Van Buren's term, the Sultan of Oman sent a variety of gifts to the president, among them being a pair of tiger cubs. He was like, "This is badass," and desperately wanted to keep them in the White House, but the dickheads in Congress asserted that, due to a specific constitutional provision, gifts to the presidential office weren't for the man himself, but for the people. Van Buren said, "Fuck the people, them's my tigers," and got into a legal battle with the legislator over the issue, which he eventually lost. The tigers were subsequently sent to a zoo, and over 20 years later, Van Buren died of pneumonia, completely unrelated to this incident. Although Andrew Johnson had no de jure pets, he did befriend a family of mice he found in his bedroom, feeding them flour and grain and referring to them as the little fellows. It's an oddly wholesome thing to hear from someone who essentially set the trajectory for the next 100 years of black disenfranchisement. Mr. Johnson, we still have a country to rebuild. Get out of my room, I'm getting rat-pilled. Taft had 2 cows during his term. The first of them was named Mooly Wooly, and she died a year and a half in after, quote, eating too many oats. Mooly was promptly replaced by the far more dignified Pauline Wayne. She was a real dime of a heifer, which led Taft to show her off at the International Dairymen's Expo in Milwaukee. In order to...
Okay, a little unfair. The president comes to your competition about like who's got the prettiest cow, and then he's the president and he has a cow. I mean, it's gonna be hard not to immediately give him the trophy. Like, I feel like he's just using his influence at this point to win. Like a local competition, I mean, I guess this is the Nationals, but still, like you are the president. I don't even think you should be able to compete in these things, man.
To get her there, she was transported in a private car attached to a train headed for the stockyards in Chicago. But a switch crew mixed up which car was hers, leading to 2 days of frantic telegraphs asking where the president's cow had gone. She only narrowly avoided the slaughterhouse when a couple of attendants at the stockyard recognized Pauline for what she was, and all was well. This next one requires a little background info.
Wow, that's how you know you got a famous cow. The dudes at the slaughterhouse was like, "Yo, we're about to, we got to slaughter this cow," and they're like, "Wait, whoa, you sure about that cow? That cow looks different. That cow looks special." I mean, maybe this really was just like a really cute cow or something, whatever. But like, this is like a cow known within the cow community. Like other cows were probably like, "Whoa, who are you? Moo."
So the traditional Thanksgiving dinner was and remains a significant yearly ceremony for the first family. For half a century, from 1873 to 1913, the duty of providing the presidential turkey belonged to one Horace Vose, a private turkey farmer based in Rhode Island. After his death, though, things turned into a free-for-all, with numerous farmers sending unsolicited turkeys, both alive and dead, in an attempt to secure a position as the next annual caterer for the White House. Nobody was decided on for a decade, and upon assuming office in 1923, Calvin Coolidge found the volume of birds showing up at his doorstep alarming, and put an end to the tradition that year, instead opting to buy his own turkey. But in 1925, after much outside pressure, he caved, and was immediately flooded with not only turkey, but a variety of increasingly exotic animals to eat. Among them was a live raccoon he received the following year. Coolidge was, at the time, blissfully unaware of the intricate dance performed on the palate between forward yet ephemeral gaminess and heady seductive musk when one submits himself to the experience of a toothsome raccoon fillet, and as such he decided to keep it as a pet instead. Dubbed Rebecca, the creature soon came to be a core member of the Coolidge family. She ate as well as any of them, being fed things like shrimp and persimmons, and she was particularly fond of eggs. Given free reign over the house, Rebecca's hobbies reportedly included unscrewing light bulbs, uprooting houseplants, and playing with wet bars of soap in the bathtub. She was so beloved that she even had her own treehouse built for her in the White House yard. When the Coolidges made way for the Hoovers, Rebecca was forced to vacate her post, but the new first family soon found that they had a squatter on their hands.
Okay, before they go into this, I gotta say, shout outs to this raccoon, because this raccoon was scheduled to be the person who sent this was like, "Yo, you want to eat this raccoon?" And the president was like, "You know what? Not only am I not gonna eat this raccoon, I'm about to give this raccoon the best life any raccoon has ever had, like ever." Not even like in America, but I'm sure very few raccoons have been owned by people with that much power. I'm sure there have been a couple, there's probably a couple going down the centuries, but for the majority of raccoons, they have been living in poverty. They've been living in trees, forests, scrimmaging from like trash cans, stuff like that. This raccoon, probably the most famous raccoon in American history. Like, probably, the fact that it has a name, it was in the White House and not just in the trash. Other raccoons were looking at this one from outside and they were like, "Whoa, how did he get in there? We got a raccoon in the White House."
Uprooting houseplants and playing with wet bars of soap and...
Guys, do not make what I just said. Like, I understand how that can come off racist. Don't make what I just said like super racist in the comments. I know fight it. Just fight the feeling. Fight the urge. I believe in you. Don't Billy, Charlie, don't do it.
In the bathtub. She was so beloved that she even had her own treehouse built for her in the White House. First family soon found that they had a squatter on their hands. The new tenant of Rebecca's treehouse was a wild opossum who, rather than being evicted, was adopted by the Hoovers in a similar fashion to Rebecca, albeit from a farther distance, mostly just saying, "Yeah, that's ours now." He was given the name Billy Possum, which is a reference to our old friend Taft. See, as the man following Teddy Roosevelt in the White House, Taft had some big shoes to fill. So during his term, some enterprising young dumbasses approached Taft with what they claimed would be the sequel to the teddy bear. They called it Billy Possum, which is itself
my
a reference to
God.
the president's fondness of possum and taters, a dish he famously requested at a banquet in Atlanta as an act of goodwill towards the South and its culture. Taft found the idea amusing enough that he gave the green light, and many thousands of Billy
No.
Possums were produced. Given their total obscurity today, it's clear these toys were a massive flop, and there's a few reasons for that. For one, trying to force fads at all is like trying to push water uphill, but also, the story of Roosevelt refusing to shoot a tied-up bear has a bit more symbolic poetry to it.
Wait, what? I've never known the story about the teddy. Is this why they have the teddy bear? Because he didn't shoot a wild tied up bear? From what I know about Teddy Roosevelt, I feel like he would rather shoot a bear that wasn't tied up. Like an adult-sized bear that wasn't tied up. He was that type of guy. He was like, yo, I don't want to shoot an innocent bear. I want to shoot a bear with some bodies on it, you know? I want to shoot a bear that, like, you know, something that could actually hurt me back, you know? That's the type of guy I think of when I think of Taft. Like, you know, he's the type that, like, you get into a bar fight, he don't even know about it. He trying to get into it, you know? But also, he'll chill with you, you know? That's the type of guy I see him as.
But then, it's a possum, because he like possum. He a fat boy, eat him up good. Couple that with the constant character assassination that the opossum as an animal has received from ignorant urbanites, and it becomes obvious that this thing was doomed from the start. But anyway, that's where the Hoover opossum got his name, and his exploits were pretty limited outside of temporarily filling in as a mascot of a local high school. In 1961, Soviet Premier Nikita Khrushchev gifted a dog to the Kennedy.
What why is this the Kennedy face? Why? Everything else about this photo is I mean, obviously it's also crazy. The random guy, Weezer, but this might be the most ridiculous thing he's done in this video.
Entities named Pushinka or Fluffy. And while it is normally rude to look a gift dog in the mouth, an exception can be made when the single biggest threat to the free world insists that said dog should live with the president. Pushinka was x-rayed, put through metal detectors, and given ultrasounds out of fear that someone implanted her with a listening device. Fortunately, though there may be bugs in some of you mugs, there ain't no bugs in she, and Pushinka remained a Kennedy for the rest of her days. While truthfully, the gift was likely given as a simple act of good faith designed to reduce Cold War tensions, Pushinka was also the daughter of Strelka, who, during Sputnik 5, became the first mammal to make it back from space alive. So I'd like to think of it as more of a passive-aggressive space race flex, like back from space
That would
alive.
be hilarious. But also, these are some of the cutest dogs I've ever seen. I would want one of these dogs immediately. Guys, if I get 10,000 subscribers, I am getting one of these dogs and showing it on stream. I'm doing a live stream of me getting this dog. Remember, 10K. Now, I may forget about this later. So if anybody sees this video and wants to remind me, feel free. But remember, 10,000 subs. I am getting this dog on stream. It'll probably have a little patch like the mom, because I feel like that's just extra cute to me. But also, look at this dog smiling. Look at that little smile. Look at that little guy. Oh my gosh.
Strelka, who during Sputnik 5 became the first mammal to make it back from space alive. So I'd like to think of it as more of a passive-aggressive space race flex. Like, yeah, our astronanimals are so alive, they're making babies even. Hope looking at this one constantly reminds you of where you stand. With that, I hope you found...
I doubt it. We got a man landing on the moon. We put the flag on the moon. That's, the dog is cool, but we got a person up there. A little bit better.
Found this highlight reel enlightening. It feels good to know that while Congress has always been a zoo, so too has the White House at times. That's all for today. Till next time, I'm Salmonella, and you make my girlhood tremble.
Aw, I appreciate that. Well, guys, that was another reaction video. Guys, make sure you like, you comment, you subscribe to this channel, but also make sure you go check out Salmonella's channel. He makes incredible content. Check out this one. He killed Garfield, Christmas characters, scandalous popes, mass hysteria, the one that I almost put out but didn't because I really didn't enjoy the way I was, reacting to it. So yeah, guys, also check out some of these other videos that apparently are things that YouTube thinks I would want to watch. And also you check out my other videos because maybe those are some stuff that you want to watch. And also this rant's going on a long time. So as always, guys, I appreciate you. Thank you. And if you want to check out more, make sure you subscribe. I love you. Bye.